My dear friends, let us begin with a simple picture. Imagine a man in a small boat upon a vast and restless sea. All about him, the waves rise and fall. The wind whispers one moment and howls the next. His attention is fixed entirely upon the surface. He is constantly adjusting his sail, bailing out water, and bracing himself against the lurch and sway of his vessel. He believes his entire reality is this struggle, this endless reaction to the turmoil on the surface. He has become so consumed by the noisy, chaotic motion of the waves that he has forgotten something profound. Just beneath the surface, in the great deeps of the ocean, there is a vast and perfect stillness, a calm that is absolute, a silence that is unshakable, a power that is immense. This little boat is the human mind, and this restless sea is the life of the senses. We, like the man in the boat, have become so accustomed to the noise of the world and the clamoring of our own thoughts that we believe this surface-level struggle is all there is. We are tossed about by the waves of worry. We are buffeted by the winds of circumstance. We spend our days reacting, striving, and straining. But I am here today to speak of a different reality. I am here to remind you of the great, silent deeps that lie within your very own soul. For within you is a hidden sanctuary of calm, an inner silence that is the source of all true power, peace, and lasting success. Now, when we speak of silence, many imagine an empty, negative state. They think of it as merely the absence of noise, or a difficult effort to stop all thought. But this is a grave misunderstanding. The inner silence we speak of is not an emptiness to be feared. It is a fullness to be discovered. It is the most positive, potent, and creative state a human being can enter. It is not the end of life, but the discovery of its source. This sacred stillness is achieved not by fighting our thoughts, but by consciously turning our attention away from them. It is a gentle letting go of the personal self, with all its anxieties and desires. It is a turning inward to the greater self, that divine spark which is one with the universal life and power. In essence, it is a homecoming. When we begin to practice this, we find that inner silence becomes the very foundation upon which a noble and victorious life is built. From it, three great powers begin to flow into our experience. First is the power of true discernment. In our ordinary state of mind, our judgment is clouded by fear and past failures. We try to think our way through our problems, wrestling with them in the small boat of our intellect, and we only become more entangled. But when we learn to retreat into our inner sanctuary of silence, the fog lifts. We stop wrestling, and we begin to listen. In this stillness, a higher wisdom begins to flow, an unerring intuition. The right answer to our problem appears, not as a product of anxious reasoning, but as a simple, clear, and quiet knowing. We find that we can solve our difficulties without strain. We are no longer relying on our own limited strength, but are drawing from the infinite mind. The second power that arises from silence is the power of character building. The world tells us to overcome our faults by fighting them, by wrestling our habits into submission. But as many of us have learned, this is a battle we seldom win. The more we fight a negative habit, the more we focus our attention upon it, and the stronger it becomes. Inner silence offers a more masterful way. In the quiet of our own being, we can observe our thoughts without condemnation. We see them for what they are, mere habits of the mind. And from that place of calm observation, we can make a new choice. We turn our attention away from the fault we wish to overcome. We focus instead on the virtue we wish to build. We cease thinking of weakness and begin to contemplate strength. We turn from thoughts of discord and fill our minds with the ideal of harmony. The subconscious mind, a tireless servant, then begins to build into our lives that which we hold in our attention. The old habits, starved of our focus, simply wither and fall away. And this brings us to the third power, the power of the abundant life. We live in a universe governed by law. And the most fundamental law is that our outer world is a reflection of our inner state of consciousness. So long as our mind is a storm of anxiety about lack, our life will reflect that poverty. So long as we dwell in thoughts of sickness and fear, our bodies will express that disharmony. By entering the inner silence, we connect with the one divine reality, which is perfect, whole, and eternally abundant. By resting in this consciousness of wholeness, even for a few minutes each day, we begin to change the very magnetic quality of our being. We unconsciously direct the inner forces of life into channels of health, harmony, and supply. We cease to create our own troubles, and the inherent divine order begins to manifest in our affairs. So, how do we begin to find this hidden power in our own lives? The path is simpler than you may imagine. First, make a daily appointment with stillness. Set aside a few minutes each day, perhaps in the quiet of the morning or the calm of the evening, where you can be undisturbed. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and simply intend to let go of the outer world. Second, practice the art of surrender. Do not fight your thoughts. Simply watch them come and go, like clouds passing in the sky, without becoming attached to them. When a worry or a problem arises in your mind, practice handing it over. You might say silently, "I release this to the infinite wisdom within me. I let go, and I trust." This is not giving up. It is an act of supreme faith. Third, cultivate a new focus. As you sit in the quiet, gently turn your attention to the feeling of peace, of life, of strength that exists behind the noise of your thoughts. You are not trying to create this peace. You are simply recognizing that it is already there. My friends, the journey is from the stormy surface of the sea to the serene and powerful calm of the deep. The world will always be noisy, and the demands of life will continue to call for our attention. But we do not have to be the man tossed helplessly in the little boat. We can learn to anchor ourselves in the great, silent reality of our own being. Do not think of this as another task to add to your busy life. Think of it as a coming home. It is a return to that secret place of the Most High, where you may abide in peace and rise in power. Begin today. Take just 5 minutes to be still. You will have taken the first step toward a life of unshakable calm and almost boundless power. For in the heart of silence, you will find everything you have ever been searching for.